Today we are looking at the snatch. The snatch is an Olympic-style lift. Its primary goal is to maximize vertical displacement and transfer of energy efficiently through force coupling synchronicity. The snatch is an advanced lift requiring adequate mobility and stabilization characteristics because of its large range of motion and its elevated center of mass on the receive. Let's take a look at Steven's lifting technique. Here is his starting position. His arms are straight, shoulders over the bar, and his hips are slightly higher than his knees. He is in a slight posterior pelvic tilt, maybe due to some tight hamstrings. Also, his head should be more neutral, in line with his back angle. Steve's first pull is pretty good. His hips and knees are extending at a similar rate. He could use a slight bit more hip extension though. Steve does a good job of scooping his knees underneath the bar for the scoop phase. With the second pull, Steve should essentially be jump shrugging the weight up. His hips and knees should be fully extended and his feet should be fully plantar flexed. In tune with the plantar flexion, he should also be shrugging. As you can see, Steve could use more hip and knee extension, creating a straight vertical line with his body. Also, Steve has forgotten to shrug. Due to lack of hip and knee synchronicity, Steve ends up jumping back. Along with missing his shrug, his elbows need to be pulled higher and more behind him for his high pull. Because of this and his lack of shrug, it creates a harder flip and receive for him. From a different angle, you can see how minimal shrug and high pull influence the bar height, leading to a more difficult receive. The clean and the clean and jerk is similar in movement to the snatch, the difference being your athlete will have a more narrow grip and the receive will be caught in the front rack position, resting on the shoulders and chest. Once the clean is received, Steve proceeds into a split jerk. Steve will piston down, then extend his hips, knees, and plantar flexing to drive energy from his body into the bar to elevate it. With the bar in air, Steve will rapidly go into hip flexion to throw himself under the bar. He will then catch the bar overhead with a split stance, feet about 24 to 30 inches apart, front knee flexed and back knee extended. The clean and jerk promotes proficiency in both ends of the hip cycle as well as central stabilization and ground reaction forces. In this clean and jerk, Steve has a better starting position along with a more synchronized first and second pull compared to a snatch. However, again, he is lacking in high pull and shrug. As Steve pistons, he does not perform enough hip flexion along with his knee flexion. This causes tibial translation, also known as knees going past the toes. On his receive, he drives the bar relatively high. Ideally, we'd want to see a more prominent pull under the bar instead of a high bar elevation. Steve's receive should be a little bit wider. As you can see, his back leg is flexed. A wider stance will give him a more athletic receive from a stabilization standpoint, as well as provide for greater opportunity to get his back leg fully extended. Also, on his receive, we can see Steve's valgus knee bend. This also is a bad position for knee health. We want to see ankle, knee, and hip all in line. To ameliorate his posterior pelvic tilt, Steve should do straight leg hamstring stretches and the cobra stretch to stretch his hamstrings and abs. Steve can work on his synchronicity and shrug timing by practicing focused jump shrugs with barbell or dumbbells, working on jumping straight up and down and shrugging. To improve Steve's jerk receive and valgus knee bend, he should perform overhead Bulgarian split squats to help prevent valgus and improve single leg strength. To work on his jerk receive, he can perform lunge switches, focusing on his back leg being straight, as well as keeping his hips low, much like pulling himself under the bar.